right, listen up, y'all.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution. Too many problems, not enough solutions. So many billionaires that make no contributions. Gotta create fun and maintain our institution.
Greetings, everybody. This is DrAbdullah with another episode of All Things Education Official, giving you educational news from a foundational Black American man's perspective. If you like what you're seeing, like what you're hearing, please stay on over at this channel, subscribe, comment, like, and share. Follow me on my social media links at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, LinkedIn, and X. Today is a very special day for me as a channel, as a content creator, and as an educator, because I am going to be having a conversation with a wonderful man by the name of Eric Hamilton, and I'm going to bring him on stage so you could just go out to meet this brother while I give you a formal introduction, but I'm very excited about this. So let me go ahead and bring my brother on board. I'm just excited, all to be damned. You ain't gonna believe it, but let's go for it. What's up, brother Hamilton? How are you, sir?
Dr. Musa, brother. Hey, I'm fabulous, sir.
Listen, I'll try. Well, listen, this is my first interview. I want to make sure the format is the way I want it to be from now on, so I'm gonna keep it fly. Let me tell you, typically this guy is the flyest guy in the group, right? So I said, man, I got E Ham come on. I can't come up here looking shabby, and I throw on a shirt and tie. This joker come on representing his Michigan State, which, you know, he still look good doing it, so I ain't mad at him. So, but listen, here's what I'm gonna say. This is Eric Hamilton. I'm gonna typically I try to skim over things, but I'm gonna give your full bio, bro, because if I don't, it won't do you any justice. All right. So he is a seasoned technology professional with author with over 30 years of experience, having held key positions at top tech companies such as Google, Yahoo, and others. He was the visionary behind a consumer electronics device similar to Google's Chromecast, and he founded the Web Academy, an online school that has attracted over 4,000 students. He is also the author of the book Social Media Branding in the Age of Obama. In 2012, Eric co-founded the Around the Way app, designed to help users locate African-American owned businesses. His contributions to technology earned him recognition at the United Nations in 2013, where he was awarded the Excellence in Technology honor. Boy, you a beast, man. Currently, Eric is spearheading the development of ARIC, which is Analytic Real-Time Intelligent Consultant, a cutting-edge generative AI tool that transforms how users interact with complex data systems by offering real-time data visualizations. In his role as a business intelligence manager at Cisco, that's right, Cisco, right?
Yes, sir.
Eric leads global web analytics efforts. He also holds a U.S. patent for the dynamic generation of custom web analytics data. Originally from Detroit, Michigan, the D, Eric holds a BS in computer science from Michigan State University, an MBA from Louisiana State University. He's a proud member of the great Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and Eric has been in the Brotherhood since 1990. Brother, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I didn't know you was like this. I knew you was like this, but when you read it, it's different. You know, it's funny because throughout the state of Michigan, we knew you was E Ham, and we knew you was that guy, and we knew you were smart, but smart is relative, when you partying and hanging out. But so smart is the guy who didn't get caught, So he's like, yeah, he's smart, but I didn't know that you were so grossly intelligent, man. But I want to say it is a pleasure and an honor to bring you up on stage, man, and have you here, man. I'm so excited about having you.
And likewise, man. And thank you for the invitation, man. Your reputation precedes you, and it's an honor for you to have me on the platform, on the show. So whatever I can do, brother, and whenever you call, hey, I'm gonna answer the phone, brother.
I appreciate it. I do. Yes, sir. Well, the reason why I wanted to call is because you and I were having a conversation, and in that conversation, we were talking about AI. And when I said AI, it's like I didn't see your face because we were on the phone, but I can tell you just lit up.
Yes, sir.
And you said some things to me that I said, oh, no, I can't hold on to this information by myself. I got to share this because we just take things for granted. And I'm telling you, in educational spaces, we're having these conversations. And I'm talking about on a secondary level. I'm talking elementary school. we're talking about it. And
Sure.
there are principals and superintendents and assistant superintendents that are saying we need to implement AI into the schools. And I think that it just sounds good, but
Yeah.
you said something about people not really understanding AI. Can you just repeat what you said to me?
So thank you for that, and thank you for that introduction. So just to take a step back, I've been dabbling with, I got my computer science degree in the 90s, and I got my first computer around 1983 at age 12, 13, 14, around 82, 83. And so I've been writing software since around that time for over 40 years. About 6 years ago, I started experimenting with machine learning, and I'll get into what that is, machine learning and artificial intelligence. And it was the first time in my life, bruh, that I created something that I truly didn't understand, right? I really didn't understand it. So it's scary, but then it's the future, and we all have to embrace it. And so it's scary because a lot of times you have these companies, you've got Google, you've got Nvidia, you've got Amazon, you've got Apple. All of them are pouring billions of dollars, Microsoft, into artificial intelligence. And they lying to us, bruh, if they telling us, oh yeah, we understand this, we know what's going on. No, they don't. They lying, bruh, they lying. They have an idea what they're creating, but they really don't know. Now, I'm not saying all that to get everybody all scared, your audience all scary style and fearful of this, because it is the future. It's about what's about to happen, and it's a matter of putting ourselves in a position to take advantage of this new technology. Very similar to how in the late 90s there was this thing called the internet. Everybody was calling it a fad. And remember, they used to call it the information superhighway.
I remember that.
Right. It's like information superhighway. People's like, my mom was like, what the hell is that? Right? Information superhighway. And what's that got to do with what she do? Right.
Right.
And of course, everybody is on the information superhighway now. Very similar. And then if we go back a decade before that, in the 80s, it was the PC revolution. They used to call it desktop publishing, right? Right. That ain't nothing but a damn Microsoft Words and PowerPoint.
I remember that too. I remember that desktop publishing. They had stores and companies that specialize in desktop publishing.
Right, because remember back in the day, before desktop publishing, back in the day in the office, they had secretaries, executives, and managers didn't write memos. They had the secretary type it up. Or my parents in their business, man, this is one thing that I didn't realize. They used to have to go down to this print shop to get stuff done. And I just read something where my mom was telling me they had to pay, like, to get these what would be equivalent to PowerPoint, like slide. They were paying like $300 a page, $300 a slide. I was like, that was in 1982. I'm like, that's a lot of that's a lot of money, right? You know what I'm saying? So desktop publishing, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, you transition from having to pay $300 a slide to virtually is free. And that's what's happening with artificial intelligence. Slowly and surely, Dr. Musa, everything is going to approach zero. And so what the hell is he talking about? The cost of everything is going to approach zero, similar to how desktop publishing, the PC revolution, information superhighway, internet are causing things to be less expensive. You think about stuff that we already know about. You think about people used to use travel agents. Right. When was the last time you called a travel agent up to book you something? You do it your damn self.
Travelocity, baby.
Travelocity, Orbitz. I use my American Express to go and book my travel, right? I could rat off a whole bunch of others. Like people used to pay, they still do a little bit, but headhunters to find them jobs. But you got Indeed, you got Monster. It proliferates, excuse my language, through what we do, and nobody pays for those things anymore. But so now if you fast forward a year or two, few years, 10 years, 11 years, 20 years down the line, everything is going to approach zero, right? So everything, right? So what do I mean by that? So if you talk about, people like, like food, like how is AI going to make that hamburger that I had yesterday be virtually zero? Well, what does it take to make a hamburger? Well, you need cows, right? You need bread, you need ketchup, right? In order for ketchup, you got to grow tomatoes. You gotta get the grass for the bulls, and then you gotta get the wheat for the buns. Well, how's that going to approach zero? Well, through AI and automation, farming, the labor. You're not going to need humans to farm land. You're not going to need humans to make fertilizer. You're not going to need humans in any or most of these steps, and it's going to drive the cost down to zero. So what about the gasoline for the tractors? Well, they're probably going to be solar powered. That's coming for free. What about the solar panels that are on the tractor? Well, the robots are going to make that. What about the harvesting of materials to make the tractor and to make the solar panels? Well, the robot's going to dig that up. Well, how are you going to power the robots? Well, from the free solar, from God, from the energy that's coming. So what does that mean for us? So this is one thing that I don't have the answer for. I think things are going to get real bad before they get good. Meaning, I foresee, because of artificial intelligence, massive unemployment, of which we as humans have never seen. Massive unemployment. The acquisition or the accumulation of wealth is going to be with a few. I mean, right now you've got billionaires that are hoarding a lot of capital and cash. It's going to be way worse. And then it's going to get to a point where all the pitchforks are going to come out, the torches and pitchforks.
Wow.
And then from there, it potentially can get really good, because we as humans in the future, your grandkids, Musa, are not going to have to work for a paycheck. Your great grandkids are going to do research on you and say, you know what, my great grandfather, Dr. Musa Abdullah, for one, he had to pay to go to school, right? Number one, they were like, really? He had to pay money? Two, he actually had to work for a paycheck in order to pay his mortgage and to buy food. I'm like, what? They're not going to understand that concept. Very similar to how you and I, we hungry, guess what we do? We go down to Chick-fil-A, or we go to Ruth Chris, wherever you want to eat, and you drop a piece of plastic, or you go down to Trader Joe's or Walmart or wherever you shop, you go get food. That concept is foreign to our ancestors 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, before farming. When they was hungry, what they do? They went out and speared that bison, right? Right. I'm hungry, I just walk up the street. They not harvesting yams and stuff. No, I mean, we not harvesting yams, but they do, right? So the concepts are going to be very different. I'm in an interview. Can you come back? Thank you. So the concepts are going to be very, very different. So to wrap our minds around all of that is going to be a challenge. And again, looking at the future and how AI is going to change that. So like that's the last point I was going to get into was how things are going to get really good, right? So this is what I mean. So bad meaning massive unemployment, good getting to a point where we as humans won't have to work for money. Your great grandkids are not going to have to work for money. They're not going to have to pay for college. They're not going to have to work to pay a mortgage. They're not going to have to work for food. Their life is going to be about self-improvement, in my opinion. And the challenge is, it's almost like the gamification of life, meaning you play a video game, and I like the games that I play, that I used to play more, maybe a decade or so ago, are like the role Dungeons and Dragons type games, right? Yeah, so you're in there, you're going on quests and things like that.
Right.
And in the game, life is going to be like this. And hear me out on this, Dr. Musa.
Okay.
Right? In the game, it's not about the acquisition of wealth and gold, right? That's a nice accessory, but it's, oh, I'm a level 57 wizard. Oh, that's what's up. Oh, people don't say, oh, I got 1 million gold pieces. Nobody cares. It's like, so what? It's like, that's not what it's about. It's about being the best, spellcaster in the game, best wizard, best warrior, whatever in the game. And that's what it's going to be about life. So, you as an educator 100 years from now will be an educator, not because you have to be. It's something that you enjoy doing. You enjoy touching lives. You enjoy interacting with young people. You don't have to do it, but you want to be the best educator you humanly possibly can be. And that's what I think life is going to be like post this really bad time that I think we're going to go through.
Right.
It's going to be really good at the end. So I'm going to pause, but
oh yeah. Oh my God. You know, it's funny because when you were talking, I thought about something. You touched on so many points, but I think that it seems more plausible because if you think about it, I'm in education, so I'm dealing with children. And I always start off by saying that when I first started in education, I was old enough to be my parents' older brother. Mm-hmm. I turned around, I was old enough to be their father. Now I'm old enough to be their grandfather. Wow. And I literally have students who do not know what a cassette tape is. They don't know what it is. Right, the funniest thing that ever happened was I was talking to some kids about cassette tapes. And then one of them said, "Oh, my grandmother has one of those."
Right.
I was like, holy moly. And I'm in a group on social media called Generation X. And what they showed was the pattern for a manual transmission. And they said, if you don't know what this is, you don't belong in this group.
Right.
And I don't think there are any kids that I've dealt with probably within the last 10 to 15 years who know what a manual transmission is. I don't think they know. As a matter of fact, I'll go one step further. I don't think there are any children that I deal with currently who understand what a television is that's not flat panel. So that lets you know how technology has grown over, let's say, the last just 20 years.
I mean, that's
I started teaching in 2001, and it's 2024.
Right. I mean, like, do you know how to ride a horse? You know what I'm saying?
I do, only because, I did it a couple times when I was young.
Right.
But it's not a common skill.
Right. So like our great grandparents probably looking at us like, y'all know how to ride a horse? Like, if I had to get on a horse and try to figure it out, and I might ride that horse off a cliff for real, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, bro. But you know what I'm saying? I seen John Wayne and them do it in the movie, and you got to do this and say, giddy up, right? Just like people 100 years from now, they about like, yeah, can you drive a car? No. But I've seen it done before. I've seen old movies from the 1980s or 1990s in the year 2024 back in the day where people, you got to do this, you got to steer, you got to churn, and then you mash the gas, and that's it. I don't know. I think that's how you do it.
That's crazy. Well, let me ask you a couple questions, and I'm gonna hit you with something after I get done, which is gonna be kind of crazy. All right. How do you see AI transforming the traditional learning environment in schools and universities?
It's going to be great. Let's break this up into time periods, right? So let's talk about the time period we are 10 years out. So from 2024 to 2034. For one, it's not going to so much affect, lower elementary right now, because we need humans to nurture 5, 6, 7-year-olds. It's not going to be that moving for that demographics. But when you start getting up into junior high school and high school, it's gonna be a game changer for the positive. How is it going to affect young people? Well, as you know, as an educator, you know this better than I do. You've got students that are all over the map in regards to where they are. You got, maybe 5% of your, maybe 5 to 10% of your class that are geniuses that probably could go to the next level. They get everything. They're just on it. And then maybe you've got 5 to 10% who just don't get it. And then in the middle, maybe the middle 80%, they're all over the map. Sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. It's all over the place. I'm just guessing.
Right.
In the future, you're going to have AI that's customized. It's almost like a catered customization lesson plan for every child to where they are within the realm of what you are teaching. Not only is that AI going to be with them in the classroom, it's going to follow them home. It's going to basically be able to check their homework. It's going to know Dr. Musa's plan you're going to be like almost like the orchestrator of all this, right? To understand holistically how things are done. But it's going to, and then you're going to maybe give lessons as a teacher holistically, but it's the AI to make sure that they actually understand and to get up to speed and to get further ahead. And everything's going to be custom. Everything's going to be customized. The way in which we, just like, think about it. You think about, well, you think about how we educate now compared to, say, 150 years ago. Remember 150 years ago, remember what they call the one-room schoolhouse, right?
Yeah.
You had maybe age 6 all the way up to 16 in one classroom.
Yeah, one classroom. Yeah.
How the hell, what? And we laugh about it. That's crazy. And they looking at us like, wow, you got all 5-year-olds, you got all 16-year-olds.
Right.
And then you move to a different subject, right? You go and okay, now you got math and now you got English. Whoa, you get the move. And then you got an expert, right? You got the expert English teacher, expert science teacher. Oh, that's hot. You know, we had that since the 1940s, 50s. I'm not sure when we had that.
Yeah.
But that's a hot concept. You got these experts, but now we got experts on steroids because again, that AI will be able to travel home via this, right? And be able to check homework and be able to understand and be able to ask questions, be able to quiz them as they're riding to school, to get them to give them a briefing on what Dr. Musa is going to have as a lesson plan. They're gonna be able to on the school bus to school. They're gonna have their headpiece in talking about what Dr. Musa is going to be talking about. Like Dr. Musa is going to basically go in this, but let me give you a little bit of a preamble to what the professor is going to be talking about. So that's going to be the future for junior high school, and college. And then colleges, ooh, man, I hate to say it, man, colleges, the heyday is over. People spending $40,000 a year on college, those days are about to be done because the cost are going to drastically go down. You don't need a building to educate college students. Now, for high school and under, you need a building. They need to be under the roof. They need to have some human oversight.
Socialization.
Some socialization, absolutely.
Right.
For college, no. You can basically, there's going to be AI that potentially replaces professors. And so the landscape will be such that there's not going to be a need for buildings and there's not going to be a need for expert professors because AI is going to be an expert at everything. And you're not in the need for a human social interaction isn't necessarily going to be needed, right? You need a loving kindergarten teacher in order to help learn ABCs. But for instance, there's a concept called quantum computing that I'm learning about. And it basically has to do with quantum physics, which is a real crazy concept. So I'm using AI to learn about it. And the things that so here's a crazy little side note. So I'm reading about it, and they're talking about crazy stuff about how particles pop in and out of the universe. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That makes no damn sense to me. Explain this as if I'm in the 12th grade. And they explained it again. I was like, I sort of get it. Okay, explain it to me like I'm 8 years old. And I'm like, oh, I kind of sort of get it now. So it's kind of going back to what I was saying before, except the AI that will be teaching these kids won't have to be prompted to say, explain it like an 8-year-old. They'll know that the child isn't getting it, and they'll try different techniques. And over time, they'll learn how that child learns, right?
So let me interject. So it sounds to me like everyone's going to pretty much have their superhuman Alexa at their disposal.
Absolutely. That might happen before the year is out. That'd be a little soon. But the only thing that's going to hold it back is the humans to adopt it, because that you can tweak what's available now to get what I just described available now. That's virtually available now. So the only thing that's stopping schools to adopt it is schools wanting to adopt it.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if you know, you know me. You've known me since literally I was a teenager. And my channel is about education from a foundational Black American man's perspective. And I want to know, this is very important for me. How can AI tools be designed to reflect and respect the diverse cultural backgrounds of students, particularly Black students?
You know what? That's a great question. So that really should be already embedded into the algorithms that potentially folks like us use, but they won't. They don't, or actually, I say they won't, but we don't know if they are or not, right?
Okay.
So how can we assure? So as we roll out and we train, because what's happening is these AI models, I guess to take a step back, when we talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, so let me just kind of frame some things and I'll go into that exact same question. So people throw out the term artificial intelligence all the time, and then you hear about machine learning and deep learning. So think about artificial intelligence as this big circle here, right? This big circle. Machine learning is a sub-circle within artificial intelligence, and then deep learning is a circle within machine learning. So you got artificial intelligence, machine learning, and then deep learning. So artificial intelligence, and it's thrown out there so much, but really it is, you think about how it's loosely defined, it really is any, you think about any software that you've ever used is potentially artificial intelligence, right? It can do things that make your life easier. So if you talk about, 20 years ago, Google, it's technically artificial intelligence. You do a Google search for apple pie recipes, and then it comes up. That's artificial intelligence,
Okay.
loosely defined. So within their machine learning, so when people say artificial intelligence, they're really referring to machine learning and deep learning. So machine learning is just, machines learning by example. So what does that mean? So back in the day, if I wanted to have a piece of software do something, I would give it instructions called source code, right? I would write it in Java, or back in the day, BASIC and Pascal. When I was in high school, I used to be sweet in Pascal. I was nice with it. But anyway, language is dead as hell now. But I would write instructions, right? Okay. And then deep learning is a level deeper, deep learning, where it's an attempt to mimic the neurons in a human brain. So what's happening is the foundations of deep learning basically patterned it after how our brains and our synapses work. And as it learns, it forms these paths or gets strengthened in the brain of the deep learning network, right? So it learns how we learn.
Okay, well, can I interject a question? Here's a question. So, with that concept, now I'm trying to pick up what you're dropping because it's heavy. I'm like, oh, this guy's killing me. Here's my question: if a person is a white supremacist and they're designing, will the program mimic that person?
Absolutely it will. If you're training it to be a white supremacist, it will absolutely be the best white supremacist it can humanly possibly be. Better than David Duke on steroids. Pick a white supremacist. It'll be the best one ever, because it'll not only will it have these biased racist attitudes, it'll probably trained on the totality of humanity, everything. It's been trained on the Quran, the Bible, everything, but can use it for twisted, evil purposes. It'll be the best races ever. Absolutely will.
Well, the reason why I ask is because I try to toy around a little bit with AI image generator and stuff like that, and I find that it really does a good job of censoring. For example, it will not allow you to create certain imagery. Like, for example, because of the nature of my channel, I always like to have black imagery for my thumbnails. But it's like it refuses to create a group image of just black people. It
Really?
won't do it.
Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, so a lot of these tools will have guardrails for whatever reason, based on, a lot of it's based on copyright. So right now, if you were some tools like, hey, I want an image of Barack Obama, it says, no, I can't do that. But it'll give you a skinny black man, right?
With big ears, right?
Right, with big ears, in a suit, right? With a red tie, right? And it's based on copyrights, and then also like for violence. But as far as group, it may be a situation where it struggles with large numbers of people in one image. So I would say try that same thing. Say, give me a group of people, see if it does any group.
No, I know it does a group.
It does a group.
That's the thing. I'll say a group of black children in school uniforms. It'll give me a group of children, but it'll have some white children in there.
Oh, I see.
So then I'll go back, I'll say black children only, and it'll say restricted content.
Oh, and a lot of times it will have that because it's trying to think ahead of people using it for nefarious activities, right? So they're, it's a guardrail that's a little extra in that sense, but they're guardrails that are built in to. But then there are other tools out there, like if you ever use Grok, it's called Grok.
I just saw that. It's on Twitter, right? Well, X.
On X.
Okay.
Exactly. There's virtually no guardrails. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Yeah, pretty much. I think they allow you to do violent stuff. You can do all types. If you wanted Madonna, Michael Jackson, Barack Obama in the picture, have the suit together, it'll do it for you.
Okay. Well, it's crazy because I knew this was going to happen. I knew that once you got rolling, every question I had, you're going to answer it. But I do have this final question because I want to wrap up.
Sure.
Advice for students. What advice would you give black students who are interested in pursuing careers in tech and AI?
Man, Musa, man, that's a hard one, man. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you why. If you would have asked me that question 3 years ago, I would have had my answer 3 years ago was my answer back 40 years ago when I decided to go into tech in 1983 when I was in 9th grade. It basically, the math, the science, you have affinity for programming. That was my answer from 1983 all the way up to 2022. That was my answer. 2023, maybe into last year. Now my answer is very different. And my answer, the reason my answer is different is technology is not going to be as lucrative as it has been for me over the last 40 years for this next generation. It's not. We have effectively, when I say we, I mean us people who dabble in AI and those AI researchers, we have effectively let the genie out of the bottle to make ourselves extinct. These massive layoffs that I talk about, it's already happened. I know so many of my colleagues, people that I know, ain't got no job. Man, they got like master's degrees in computer science and were hot, in demand 3, 4, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, are like kind of sort of trying to find a job now because AI can program better than any programmer out there.
Wow.
The future will be, here's the thing, and for your kids, not even grandkids, for you in 10 years, Musa, like you have a lot of great ideas. You're a smart brother, but you're not a software developer. You know what? In 6 years, you're not going to need to. You go up to AI and say, you know what? I got an app. I want you to create an app that's going to do this for the Black community, this, that, and boom, 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 boom. And then it's going to ask you some follow-up questions. And literally 10 minutes later, the app is ready to be published to the App Store. That's almost here now, but in 10 years, it'll be like, I can build an app, do whatever we want to do. Like, build an app that's similar to Facebook that does XYZ a little bit differently, boom, it's going to be done. So to answer your question, let me come full circle. Domain expertise is the future. So what do I mean by domain expertise? So if one wants to go into technology to be a software developer, the robots are going to basically going to outshine you. But if, for instance, my daughter, she likes science and space, but she also likes geology. Like she'll dig up rocks in the backyard. We're going to nature walk. She's looking at rocks. She's talking, Daddy, this is an amethyst, and this is. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, that's good. Yeah, write it down and document, right? So we were trying to figure out, well, what is the future going to look like to her? She wants to be, she's interested in astrophysics. She's only 8. Astrophysics, but also geology. And her career, she wants to mine asteroids, right? So so when I say domain expertise, so someone who understands astrophysics, who understands a little bit about robotics, who understands geology, because that's gonna be big. And by the time she's our age, we're gonna be mining asteroids. That's how we'll harvest. We'll be harvesting raw materials from asteroids because it's too expensive to lift all that materials into space. You mine asteroids, and then for water, which can be split into hydrogen and oxygen, and for iron to make rockets, whatever, and then boom, you're good. So to answer your question, it's going to be domain expertise. The fact that my daughter is passionate about geology, asteroids, and astrophysics, she can use technology to fulfill or to reach those goals or whatever she's trying to do. So to answer your question, young people who are interested in technology, being a software developer is not the thing. And it hurts me to say that. It hurts me. That in 10, 15 years, that's a dead end career. I mean, it hurts my soul to say that, because I made a lot of damn money over the last, especially the last 28 years doing what I do. Oh, I mean, I've been stacking them. I've been hitting them hard, right? I mean, but that's got a shelf life. That's about to evaporate. So domain expertise, coupled with understanding how AI, as the smartest assistant ever made, can help you reach whatever goal or task that you're trying to accomplish. So if someone will say, hey, well, I want to go into technology, but Dr. Musa is my idol. And I'm like, and I want to kind of sort of do what he does. I'm like, that's excellent. Inspiring youth, inspiring young Black folks through education. Yes. Now you've got thousands of assistants via AI that can help you do that. Figure out a way, because you've been educated by Dr. Musa. You understand what needs to feed a Black man's soul. You understand that. AI does not have that domain expertise. No matter how smart it is, it knows a lot, but it doesn't know what feeds the soul, my brother. It doesn't know what you know. It doesn't know what the man or woman that you've influenced. It doesn't understand that. And that's where the domain expertise comes in. But not only domain expertise, and understanding how to use technology to leverage that domain expertise. That's the future. Not the technology in and of itself, because you're never going to outprogram AI. It's going to smoke you every single damn time. Now it can do it. It's 2024, it can smoke you. I've seen it, bro. I get smoked every goddamn time. Excuse me, every time I'm cussing on you. This is supposed to be an educational program. Hey, bro, it's domain expertise. Having an understanding how AI can enhance your domain expertise. That's the future.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to leave it on that note, brother, because I'm telling you, here I am. I'm antiquated, brother. I'm still stuck.
Yeah, bro,
and, my students are coming to me. I'm like, well, what do you want to do in life? I got kids telling me, I want to be a gamer. I want to be a game tester. I'm like, I don't even know if that's still a thing anymore. It's, you know, I don't know. So I thought it'd be best to ask you a question, but I wanted to follow up by saying this. The most interesting thing is I didn't know how to engage you because I know your expertise is it's without bounds. It's in comparison to what I know specifically. I just asked, I asked AI. I went into a ChatGPT and I said, what do I ask a seasoned black male AI tech guy? And it banged out like 20 questions.
Nice. That's what's up.
And I was like, this is crazy because I didn't really know what to ask. Only thing I knew is that the information you gave me was just so riveting and so cutting edge. And I just knew that there were people, I don't care if it's only 100 people, that's more than knew it yesterday. So with that being said, brother, I want to say I appreciate you. Thank you so very much for coming out, man. And once again, I applaud you on your efforts and I just wish you the best of luck. And I know you got to keep stacking that bread because as you say, AI's coming for that job, baby. So, you know, you're going to be all right though. But I want to say thank you very, very much. And I hope to have you back here again.
Yes, sir. Just let me know. You know, I'm down.
Yes, sir. Thank you very, very much. And peace and love, my brother.
Likewise, brother.
06.
06.
As you can see, we have had an expert in AI and tech, and I would say it was my honor and pleasure to bring Brother Eric Hamilton. Once again, this is another episode of All Things Education Official. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Rumble, TikTok, and X. You are dismissed.
Yeah! You are all expurgated. You are dismissed.
Too much propaganda, spiritual pollution. Too many problems, not enough solutions. So many billionaires that make no contributions. Gotta create fun and maintain our institutions. Word to the masses, our government is backwards. Only thing I've learned is what a barrel and a crab is. Deploying all these tactics to keep us all distracted. Scrolling on our gadgets and we scroll right past it. While we caught up in the fashion, they sitting back laughing. This education we're lacking, all the laws they be passing. Peep the curriculum, you see they're subtracting. The necessary work, these kids mentally absent. Turned out full plastic.